Hi, little disciples, and welcome back to another week. Last week, you guys with Miss Kate and Miss Megan read about Jesus, our God, giving his people his new laws and decrees in the Ten Commandments and Moses going up on the mountain. This week, we're going to continue our story into the Israelites wandering. God's rules and laws were perfect, but God's people were not. They wanted to obey the laws that God gave them, but they still made bad choices and did some wrong things. When they thought that God had left them, they made their own God, a calf made out of gold. And God was angry, but when the people said they were sorry, God forgave them. The Israelites made a special tent for God called a tabernacle, and God placed a cloud over the tabernacle during the day and a pillar of fire at night. So God would be with the people all the time, and the people could look at this cloud and fire and know that God was always with them. The next part of our story is going to start in the book of Numbers, which is in the Old Testament. It's called God's Brave Explorers. After traveling in the wilderness, Moses and the Israelites reached the edge of Canaan, the land God had promised his people. They were weary travelers and were excited to know their journey was almost over. Moses called the people together and said, "Before we enter the promised land, we must send explorers to learn about the land and the people that live there." So Moses chose 12 explorers and gave them instructions. "Go south and then in the mountains," he said. "See what the land looks like. Is the soil rich for planting? Are there lots of trees? Are the people strong or are they weak? And what are the towns like? Are they open like camps or do they have walls?" The 12 explorers packed up and off they went. They searched and looked and investigated for 40 days. Then they returned to Moses with a report. "The land is awesome," they said. "The soil is good for planting. Just taste these wonderful fruits we found, grapes, pomegranates, and figs." They shared their treasures with the people, and the Israelites couldn't wait to enter the land. Excitement grew among the people. But when Moses asked about the Canaanites who lived in the land, the explorers began to disagree. 10 were fearful and told the people, "We can't go there. The cities are huge and they have walls around them. The people are so big and strong. Some are as big as giants. They will kill us if we try to take the land," they cried. The fear of the 10 explorers quickly spread through the camp. "We are better off going back to Egypt and living as slaves," the people said. But 2 explorers, Caleb and Joshua, were not afraid. They were strong and brave, and they trusted God. "We can do it. We can take the land. The Lord is on our side. Do not be afraid. They have no protection, but the Lord is with us." Despite all the good things God had done for his people, the people did not believe Caleb and Joshua, and God was angry with the Israelites' lack of faith. Moses pleaded with God to forgive the people, and God listened to Moses and agreed to forgive. But God did not allow his people to enter the promised land for 40 years. Moses tried to be a good leader, and he carefully followed all of God's instructions. He helped the people remember all of God's rules, and when the Israelites grumbled, he tried to be patient, but Moses did not always succeed. The Israelites could not find water in the desert, and once again the people forgot how God had provided through them throughout their journey. They fussed and complained, and they blamed Moses. "We're going to die in this desert if you don't give us water. We should have stayed in Egypt." Moses listened. Then, as always, he went to God and asked God to provide water for the people. God answered, "Gather the people around. Take your walking stick and go to a rock I will show you. Talk to the rock and water will flow." Moses and his brother Aaron gathered the people who were still grumbling, and Moses became angry and lost his temper. He shouted at the people for not trusting God. Then Moses smacked the rock twice with his stick. Immediately water gushed out of the rock, enough for all the people and the animals. The people received what they needed, but Moses was punished for his actions. Moses did not obey God and hadn't given him credit for the miracle. God said, because you do not believe me and because you do not honor me as holy before the people, you will not lead them into the land I will give them. Moses remained the leader of the people of Israel, but because of his mistake, his leadership ended at the edge of the promised land. Wow, what an amazing story of God still providing for his people even if they make mistakes. Just like we make mistakes and sometimes have a hard time following God's rules or maybe our parents' rules, we are always forgiven when we ask God for forgiveness, and he always stays with us and provides. Even though the people were grumbling and complaining for water, and even though Moses didn't follow the instructions that God had given him to talk to the rock instead of hitting it, God still provided and his people still got water. Moses was still their leader, but there was a consequence. Moses was not able to go into the promised land with the people. He had to stay outside. God is always with us, and God always forgives us, even if we make mistakes and don't follow the rules. Just like our parents always love us no matter what. I hope that you have a great week and enjoy the sunshine. And hopefully we'll see you in person this week. If you're doing it online virtually, I hope that you enjoy the story.